CompTitleGM.com, CPGM, Headley, Drew, Juice. We out here. We about to break down the couch. No. What are we breaking down? We're breaking down the NFL draft. We're breaking down the Green Bay Packers right now. They got a hashtag?
The Couch Bay Packers. That's what we
Cheeseheads?
Cheeseheads.
Is it Cheeseheads?
Hashtag Packers Nation. I'm gonna go with Packers Nation.
Packers Mafia?
No, they're not the Mafia. That's the Bills, man. We're just talking about Bills.
No, you're disrespectful. So we're recapping the 32 NFL teams and their draft classes. We're on the Green Bay Packers of Wisconsin. Headley, they went cornerback, back to back. Both of you are corners, obviously. Took the #1 corner, but prior to that, they made a trade with the New Orleans Saints. Tell me a little bit about what you thought about that particular trade.
I thought it was excellent. I thought it was Fleece. That's what we calling it, man. New GM out there for the Green Bay Packers. Blanking on your name right now. I wrote about you. You'll see your name in my post on CompTitleGM.com. But he did an excellent job manipulating the draft board. He started at what, pick 14, traded down to 27. Got a first-round pick for the New Orleans Saints when he selected Marcus Davenport. Green Bay could have selected Davenport if they wanted to, but you know, I prefer to trade down, get the extra first-round pick. Then they traded from 27 back up to 18 to select my #1, your #1, your #1 cornerback, Jaire Alexander, or is it Jaire? I call him Jaire Alexander.
Just give us a little phonetic if you don't mind. Don't kill us for the pronunciation. We butcher names. That's what we do. But give us a phonetic spelling. That'll do. Thank you.
You know, that's our #1 corner, man. I call him Baby Asante Samuels. This guy has the instincts, the swag, the ball skills, man. Everything that I look for in a corner, moment of truth. Who's gonna come down with it, man? You know, and Jaire Alexander, he does an excellent job. The knock on him, he was hurt in college. He dealt with some injuries, but when he was on the field, it was lights out. You couldn't pass over there, man. And Jaire Alexander is going to be an excellent football player. The Green Bay Packers needed a secondary. They allowed the most passing touchdowns last season.
Terrible.
So it's a big need, and like you said earlier, they doubled down with my cornerback too, Josh Jackson, man. What you think about those two guys?
I mean, listen, the one of the things that I really like about Jaire, man, when he's playing, bro, he's having fun, man. Yeah. You know, that's
mentality.
Yeah, mentality, man. That's big for me, man. So, you know, Headley said everything about him, bro. He's #1. He's #1 corner for us. That's all I can tell you, man. As for Jocelyn,
before you get to Josh Jackson, a lot of people are like, "You're crazy right now. Denzel Ward clearly was the best corner in this draft. How could you go with Alexander? Blah 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 blah. Why is he better than Ward?"
To me, it's ball skills, it's instincts. He has a feel of that position. They're about the same size, so a lot of people are going to be like, can they play outside? And the skill set that Alexander has about finding the football, just the anticipation in and out of routes, it trumps Denzel Ward. You know, I think Denzel Ward's going to have trouble holding up on the outside. I've said that from day one. I think he's a slot corner.
They said that, you know, the way that Ohio State uses their corners, they don't necessarily want them to, like, always turn and look for the football. It's one of those, when the football gets there, knock it away. I don't know if that's true or not, but I mean, that's kind of how he played. So you know, maybe Cleveland figured out he can turn and run. We ran him through 15 drills and he can do it. But you know, you can clearly see on tape that Jaire can do it with no issue. He's comfortable doing it. Looks like, you know, it's like him making a bowl of cereal. It's easy.
People say that Ward is physical, and obviously if you watch his highlights, there's some big hits where guys weren't able to kind of protect themselves, and you know, he laid the shoulder into him, but that doesn't suggest physical to me.
No. I
don't see physicality in his coverage. No. You understand what I'm saying? I see more of that in Alexander. I see more fight, more dog in Alexander. So that isn't to say that Ward isn't a quality corner, isn't going to be a good one. I do think, and I saw PFF kind of broke down the #1 receivers that he may end up matching. Baptism. Yeah, he's running into some big physical guys who can fly as well. So it'll be interesting to see how he plays.
And I just wanted to say also, man, we were #1 on Alexander from the beginning.
From the top.
And it seems like a lot of analysts kind of caught up to it and moved them up the boards, like to number 2, number 3, or whatever. But we've been big on Alexander from day one.
You know, Ward's biggest, I think his best attribute is that he can stay in the hip pocket of receivers without touching them. You know, but at some point in time, you know, the game is physical. And
yeah.
You got to put your hands on. They're gonna put their hands on you. You got to put, so it's got to happen. So, but that's one thing Jaire can do, man. Is he's willing to do it, regardless of who the receiver is. So you have that. As for Josh. Joshua? Josh?
Joshua.
Josh is short for Joshua.
So we'll just go Josh. We'll go Josh Jackson. That's what they got on the website here. So we'll go with that. This is another cover 3 zone corner. He did play some nickel. He did drop into the nickel position on third and long type situations. There were some successful things that he was okay with, and some things it went well. Sometimes it didn't go well. Sometimes
he lacks experience.
Exactly, but he's definitely a zone guy. I wouldn't put him in man too often. Let's work into that. Let's work to that. But let's not throw him into it right away. But this dude he looks like a receiver running routes, man. When he turns and looks for the ball, man, it's probably the best in the class.
That's exactly what he is. He's a receiver playing cornerback. He started out as a receiver. He led the nation. Some people might say he's a one-year wonder because he led the nation in 8 interceptions this last year, 26 pass defense. So he gets his hands on the football. He's my number 2 corner because I love ball skills. And him and Alexander, Kevin King from last year, man, it's going to be
different.
It's going to be different, man. Just can't Green Bay get to the quarterback, man. Guys can't cover forever.
No.
So, in their draft, they didn't really address pass rushers. So, I think that's still a question mark for these guys.
So, I agree with you. And in the pantheon of building a roster, you want to start from the trenches and work your way back or work your way out. However, outside of maybe Harold Landry, I know you guys kind of felt like, Davenport has a high ceiling, and I think Davenport's going to be good. I'm not one of those people that are concerned with whether or not he's in a bust. I think coaching, being around Cam Jordan, I think he's going to turn out to be a good one. I don't think he is going to be good as quickly as a lot of people think. But there are a slew of guys on the defensive line, guys who can get after the passer coming out next year, and the Packers got that additional pick. I think that's what they're thinking. Listen, it wasn't quite as deep. It was a very good class of corners here. We got the number 1 corner according to CPGM. Mm-hmm. We got the guy who led the country in interceptions, has amazing ball skills in Josh Jackson, particularly with that kind of length. You add into a Kevin King, who should be healthy going into year 2. They're setting themselves up well to address that. To your point, it didn't happen this year, but they're going to have an opportunity maybe to get two guys who get after the passer in the first round next year.
They're doing a really great job over there, man.
That GM, his name is Brian.
Gunicus.
Yeah, Gunicus. If I push
it, let me know. It was a great. I wouldn't call it an audition because obviously he has a job. I think his first draft went very well. I think what he was able to accomplish day 1, day 2 alone. We can get into day 3 here, but what he was able to accomplish, particularly getting that pick next year again. In a class that is going to be, that first round next year is going to be so defensive line, offensive line heavy.
Guys coming out. You got those beasts at
Ohio State, Oliver. It's
going to be crazy on the defensive line.
They're going to have an opportunity. Just like you had the opportunity this year to get you a corner, they got 2. They're going to be able to get defensive linemen. So, pair it up.
Third round, they went Oren Burks, Vanderbilt. He's another guy that can help them, their pass defense, man. This guy's athletic. He flies around. He can come in and play in the middle on like 3rd and longs and stuff like that. So, they really wanted to address their pass defense, and it shows with the first 3 picks.
It looks like they got a lot more athletic, too. Yeah. They got guys who can run, who can open up and run. And I think they've been missing that. They've been missing some athleticism, some speed on the defensive side.
AJ Hawks of the world, not working out.
It's been a while.
Now they got Blake Martinez
and
Jake Ryan. So
Clay Matthews can't play forever. You know what I'm saying? He's still their best pass rusher. That's a problem.
But what I do love about this team, I know it's a draft breakdown. Sure. But the Muhammad Wilkerson addition with Kenny Clark and Mike Daniels.
That's gonna be wonderful.
That's the best front 3 right there to me in football.
So you have that. You have that as down linemen. Mm-hmm. You have the flexibility next year to add some edge pass rush, whether it be Farrell from Clemson, Bosa from Ohio State, whatever the case may be. That Green Bay. Listen, we've talked about it a lot. That Ted Thompson just didn't do enough. He didn't do enough with Aaron Rodgers, Mike McCarthy as well. He gets it too. You haven't done enough. When you got Aaron Rodgers under center, you should be competing for championships every season. You're a playoff team every year that he's healthy, but you're not necessarily competing for championships. You have too many flaws. And they're in a position where if they did well this draft, they nail next year's draft, they could be a problem. They could be a serious problem.
And you know who just got paid, right? And Matt Ryan, so you already know. And that was a sixth. He took a sixth of the salary away from the Falcons. So you can only imagine what Aaron Rodgers is going to do.
They're right about to get a quarter of it.
So you got to live in this draft. And so far,
they're quarter of that cap.
They're off to a good start, man. They're going to have to,
What next pick they got?
Jamon Moore from Missouri.
This was the first of the 3 receivers they drafted. They drafted Jamon Moore from Missouri. They drafted Scantling. I know he got full name, man. Marquez
USF.
Valdez Scantling, USF. We're alums, USF alums over here, man. And then the 3rd receiver they drafted was, what you calling them?
St. Thomas Aquinas.
Equanimous St. Brown from Notre Dame, man. So 3 receivers out here. They lost Jordy Nelson. Randall Cobb's getting a little older. They just paid Devontae Adams. So what do we think with these 3 receivers, man? Who breaks through? Do they all make the final 53-man roster? What's going on, man?
Well, I definitely think Jamon Moore, who's not a polished player but a bigger receiver, Aaron Rodgers is going to put it where he can get it at the end of the day.
I think the guy is Scantling.
You like Scantling?
I think the guy is Scantling. I think he has the most utility in terms of what he can offer, maybe in the 3rd phase of the game as well. So that may help him secure a roster spot. And listen, if you have a pulse, Aaron Rodgers can find you. You know what I mean? St. Brown obviously has gotten a lot of buzz. The fantasy community is in love with his measurables. You know how I feel about the whole Spark thing. Are you a good football player? He flashed a little bit, but he's very limited in terms of the route tree, and he apparently doesn't want to play special teams.
Yeah, that was a poor decision for him to voice that. Because, like you said, man, like I said, we all said, in day 3, 5th, 6th, 7th round, you want a guy that could play special teams also, man. That's what you look for. You look for guys that could, be backups and have special teams prowess, man.
It's a numbers game, man, and there's only so many roster spots, right? Yeah. So if you can play wide receiver, which, obviously you want to be a star, you want to be a guy who be the number 1, number 2, and number 3, but you got to start somewhere, man. Sometimes that's special teams, man. If you're not willing to do that, man, I mean, what else happens when the game ain't going right, man, if you ain't getting the ball? Now, that speaks to other things than you just saying, I don't want to play special teams.
Bro, you're not good enough to say,
no,
I ain't playing special teams. You're not good enough. You know what I mean? That's the reality of things. You know what I mean?
I venture to bet a lot of starters in the league, outside of obviously the injury factor, they would love to play special teams, but there's an understanding that we're paying this guy too much money to go out there and run around and play special teams.
I mean, there's some of that, and don't get me wrong. I'm not going to sit here and suggest that there aren't guys who feel like they're above playing special teams. Of course, there are guys like that, but they're typically proven commodities. They're not day 3 picks. You know what I'm saying? With again a limited route tree, who's really just banking off the strength of a good workout. More so than anything else, if you ask me.
Yep. What else they did, man?
They took a stab at him, though.
They drafted a punter, J.K. Scott from Alabama. They drafted James Loomy, defensive end from Cal. Hunter Bradley. That's a long snapper and a punter. So it looks like they want to improve on their special teams. And we talked about special teams.
So there's an emphasis. They place an emphasis on special teams, and you got guys selected day 3 talking about, I ain't trying to play special teams. Okay.
We'll see how long that lasts. But yeah, man, I love this draft for Green Bay, especially at the top. Alexander, Josh Jackson, my 1 and 2. I think these guys come in immediately and help that pass defense. Oren Burks, another playmaker in the second level of the defense, also gives them versatility. So Green Bay did a good job.
I'm impressed. And
they got an extra 1st round pick. That's big. Yeah, it might not be a top pick, but because the Saints are pretty good.
Sure. But there's a certain level of depth, and it obviously gives them the ammunition. Maybe they don't use both picks. Maybe they package it and move up to get the guy that they covet. So the Packers have missed a lot recently. They've missed a lot recently, and they haven't delved into free agency, and they have changed the narrative. In one offseason, they've changed the narrative. They drafted very well, and they spent money. They went out and got proven commodities.
I know Packers fans got to feel like...
They got to be excited. Aaron Rodgers coming back to that. I know the Jordy Nelson thing, he didn't like that, but listen, he's a much better supporting cast than he had last year.
I'd agree.
When we say, what did they do offensively? Why is it much better?
So what do you mean? I'm just talking about in general.
Oh, you're talking defense. The team's a lot better.
I mean, Jordy looked like a shell of himself anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what is it that they lost offensively that you feel like can't be replaced? Adams took a step. I think Adams is in line for a big season. I've had my questions about him, but I think he's in line for a big season. You know what I mean? I don't think they lost or gained anything other than a better red zone target in Jimmy Graham. I don't think he adds much anything else.
But you know what I like about him too? Maybe Ty Montgomery should go back to play receiver with the emergence of Jamal Williams
and Aaron Jones. Number 12 is coming back, and they may actually be able to hold a lead now. True. That to me means that you got a much better team at that point. You know what I mean?
True. There you have it, man. That's CouchPotatoGM.com. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel, like, comment. We love your comments. And find us on every platform, man. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, iTunes, everywhere. Find us, man.